Hello everyone, I welcome you to Giwa Enoch Driving School. My name remains Giwa Enoch. I welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today I want us to talk about the road signs which you are seeing on your screen. Now if you look on your screen, you see road signs. Another it, you see segnale stradale. Then secondly, you see segnaletico stradale. These are the names given to road signs in Italy. Now, road signs, in other words, is known as segnali stradali, or you can call it segnaletico stradale. It means road sign. Then you may ask, of what relevance is road sign? The road sign serves as a link or a bridge between the users of the road and the road itself. It enables us to know the behavior, that is what they call il comportamento, that we have to adopt on that particular area of the road. So that is that. And then let's look at the next one, posizione della segnali stradali. Posizioni della segnali stradali. Now we talk about this one. It's talking about the position, that is, where is it placed? A posto, that is placed. A trovato, where is it found? So when we talk about the posizione della segnali stradali, we are talking about the position where it is placed and the position where it is found. Now if you look on your screen, you see one I wrote corrispondenza. Beside it you see at. Then you see two, proximita. Then you see vicinanza. Then you see nearness or closeness. Now, when we talk about the position of the road signs, which is known as segnali stradali, we are talking about where is it placed and found, as I've said earlier. Now, the road sign is placed, that is, at the road. Corrispondenza, then proximita, that means it is close to the roadway, that is the carreggiata. You agree? You know that the carreggiata is the roadway, and the carreggiata is different from the strada, which is the road. But I want you to know that there is a part of the road where you are allowed to drive your vehicle. That's what they call the carreggiata. The carreggiata is that part of the road, that is the strada, where it is allowed the movement of vehicle. It is not all part of the road that will allow the transit of the movement of vehicle. No, there is a part where vehicles is not allowed to transit. Like for example, it is wrong for the motor vehicle to be driven or to transit along the marcia piedi. The marcia piedi is also part of the road. That is that. So basically, the road sign are either in corrispondenza or in prossimità della strada. So that is that. Then let's look at the next one here, which is number 3. It's talking about classificazione e gerarchia dei segnali stradali. That means the classification and the hierarchy of the road sign. Now, in other words, this number 3 is simply talking about the types of road signs. We have various forms of road sign. Then if you look at A, we're talking about agenti di traffico. We're talking about the traffic warden, the polizia, the carabinieri. That's what we call the agenti di traffico. And when the construction work is going on, there is a construction officer that you see by the side of the construction site, that is cantiere stradale, deciding when to go and when to wait. That's also part of this agenti di traffico. Then B, you see the word semaforo. The semaforo is talking about the traffic light. That's what they call the semaforo. Is talking about the traffic light, or what they call luminose. Is same thing as the semaforo. Then number 3 is verticale. That is segnale stradale di verticale. The word verticale is talking about vertical. Then D is horizontale. That is segnale stradale di horizontale. Now, what is the difference between C and D? Now, we'll talk about segnale stradale di verticale. This one is talking about those road signs that are mounted. When you say mounted, that means they are placed on pole, signpost. You see a pole, and on top of that pole, you see a sign. It can be divieto di sosta, it can be divieto di fermata. Different forms of road sign will be written on top of the pole. You see a signboard on top of the pole. So any road sign that you see that is mounted on the pole, that's what we call segnali stradali di verticali. They are mounted, installed on poles. That is that. Then we talk about D, which is horizontally. What are those road signs that are called horizontally? Those road signs that are called horizontally are those road signs that are placed, that are found on the surface of the asphalt of the road. That's what they call the kota. That's a road sign you see there. It can be in form of lines, blue lines, white lines, yellow lines. Then you can see names. You can see the name of a place written on the surface of the asphalt. That is segnale horizontali. Segnale stradale di horizontali are those road signs that are placed, that are found on the surface of the asphalt of the road. For example, if you go to a parking slot, which is known as parkeggio, you will see white line, which means you can park there. You can park your vehicle there without paying. You can also see the one of a blue line, which means if you park your motor vehicle on that space bounded by blue line, you will pay for it. Then you also see the one that has something like arancia. That one is a parking space that is allotted or allocated to people with disability. You understand? That is that. These are examples of segnali stradali di horizontali. Then another example of road signs that are known as horizontally is when you see straight arrows. That's what they call freccia diritto, means proseguire diritto. Then you also see arrow sign on the surface of the asphalt of the road telling you svoltare a sinistra, that means turn left, oppure svoltare a destra, which means turn right. These are examples of segnale stradali di horizontali. They are always found, even the white line you see at the edge of the road, the white line you see at the middle of the road. These are examples of segnale stradali di horizontali. Take note, horizontally, they are always found on the surface of the asphalt. But in the case of vertically, they are found on the pole. It will be on top of the pole. So that is that. Now, another thing I want us to know about the different types of road sign is that if there's a conflict between agente di traffico, that is the road sign coming from the agente di traffico and the road sign coming from the semaforo, what will you do? You will allow the road sign that is coming from the agente di traffico to prevail over the road sign that is coming from the semaforo. Then if you have a conflict between the road sign coming from the semaforo and the one coming from the vertically, you will allow the road sign coming from the semaforo, that is the traffic light, to prevail over the road sign coming from the vertically. Then if you have a conflict between the road sign coming from the vertically and the road sign coming from the horizontally, you will allow the road sign coming from the vertically to prevail over the road sign coming from the horizontally. That is the essence of the hierarchy of the road sign. Then let us look at number 4. Under number 4 here, you see segnali stradali di verticali sono di, that means those road signs that are referred to as vertically, we have different types of them. We have different types of segnali stradali di verticali. Now, examples of segnali stradali di verticali are segnali stradali di pericolo, that is danger, that is A. Then B, segnali stradali di divieto, that is prohibit, i.e. prohibit. Then segnali stradali di obbligo, that is something that is what? Obligatory. Then D, we have segnali stradali di verticale di precedenza, that is priority. In other words, under the segnali stradali di verticale, there are different types that falls under different types of road sign that falls under the segnali stradali di verticale. They are segnali di pericolo, segnali di divieto, segnali di obbligo, segnali di precedenza. A, B, C, and D, they are classified under segnali stradali the what? The vertically. That is that. Then let's go to number 5. It's talking about segnali stradali di prescrizione. Now, when we talk about segnali stradali di prescrizione, we're talking about there are some road signs that are classified as prescription road signs. That's what we're talking about. When we say number 5, segnali stradali di prescrizione, that means there are some road signs that are classified as prescription road signs. They are Roman figure 1, deviento. Roman figure 2, obligo. Roman figure 3, precedenza. Now, when we talk about deviento road sign, it means prohibited. There's some road sign you see, it will tell you that this thing that you are saying inside that road sign, you are not expected to do it. It is forbidden. Then, Roman figure 2 is obligo. Then, Roman figure 3 is precedenza. Precedenza is talking about when 2 or more vehicles meet at 2 or more junction, one is expected to go before the other. So that road sign that tells us which of the vehicle is expected to go before the other is what they call segnali stradali di precedenza. And it falls under what? It falls under segnali stradali di prescrizione. So that is that. In subsequent videos, I will give you those various road signs that are classified as segnali stradali di deviento, segnali stradali di obligo, segnali stradali di precedenza. We are going to be looking at all of them. But what I've just done today is to give you an idea of what the different types of road sign, what is all about. So that is that. Then if look under it, I wrote something like Gli utenti della strada. When we talk about Gli utenti della strada, we're talking about the users of the road. Each time you see the word Gli utenti della strada, is talking about the users of the road. For example, we have the ciclisti, we have the autista, that is the driver. The ciclisti is the people that ride the bicycle. We have the animale, we have pedoni, that is pedestrian in Italy. Pedonale, that is also known as pedestrian. Pedoni, pedonale, the Italian word for pedestrian, those that use their walk, that use their leg to make that movement. Then the last one is veicoli. So that is that for now. Thank you. Hope to hear from me soon.